In the Underworld universe, there exists a myriad of incredibly powerful creatures, ranging from warrior vampires and furious werewolves to ancient immortals who operate in the shadows. Undoubtedly, among the most antagonized are the lycans and werewolves, beings with the ability to transform at will, while some are trapped permanently in their beastly forms. This race has been entangled in an unceasing war against vampires, who once enslaved and oppressed them for centuries. In the films, we have witnessed that werewolves stand out as the most formidable creatures when it comes to physical strength. But which of these werewolves reigns supreme? In this compilation, you will uncover the answer, delving into their stories, personalities, abilities, weaknesses, and distinctive traits. So, without further ado, let us embark on the journey to discover the top 7 strongest werewolves and lycans in the Underworld franchise. Crandrill, the youngest of the 3 Lichen brothers, made his appearance in the animated film Underworld Endless War. As a member of the Lords of the Growing Testament, he played a significant role in their deceptive scheme. The brothers posed as human lords and established their dominance over a mansion situated on the outskirts of Paris in 1890. Crandrill, known for his youth and vitality, indulged in a promiscuous lifestyle, surrounded by harem-like groups of female lycans. This aspect of his character added a layer of complexity and sensuality to his portrayal. Reyes, the brother of Crandrill, possessed distinct qualities that set him apart within the trio. While his siblings embraced their physical prowess, Reyes exhibited a different passion, a profound love for books. He was portrayed as an avid bibliophile, demonstrating a deep intellectual curiosity. Reyes served as the voice of reason among the brothers, cautious and measured in his actions. Darius, the eldest of the 3 brothers, held a noble and selfless disposition. As the embodiment of strength and leadership, Darius made the ultimate sacrifice, enabling his brother's escape from Zelling. The film's protagonist, Darius' act of self-sacrifice showcased his unwavering loyalty and devotion to his family. Tragically, these 3 Lichen brothers met their untimely demise at the hands of Zelling during her relentless crusade to exterminate all lycanthropes. Despite their short-lived presence, the characters of Crandrill, Darius, and Reyes added depth and complexity to the narrative of Underworld Endless War, contributing to the intricate dynamics of the Lycan world within the film. Dr. Jacob Lane was the ruthless director of Antigen and the primary antagonist in Underworld Awakening. He was also an evolved Lycan, although not as powerful as his son Quint Lane, since he did not inject himself with the Corvinus strain to the same extent as Quint. A conversation between Dr. Lane and his son suggests that at some point before the Purges, both he and Quint discovered the existence of the 2 immortal species, and, for unknown reasons, chose to become Lycans. It is also mentioned that his wife opted to remain human, which Jacob viewed as their abandonment. However, this theory is only implied and not explicitly stated. Alternatively, it is possible that both Jacob and Quint accidentally contracted lycanthropy, and subsequently attempted to coerce Jacob's wife into becoming a Lycan as well. It is later revealed that Lane is part of the Lycans' grand plan to eradicate their vampire adversaries. As an evolved Lycan, Jacob Lane possesses immense brute strength and raw power, making him formidable in battle. While Quint exhibits more lupine characteristics, Jacob shares greater similarities with the hybrid Michael Corvin. He can endure significant damage and regenerate himself, attacking with tremendous force and speed. However, his enhanced abilities are not as pronounced as his son's due to a lower dosage of the Corvinus strain in his system. Razahir Kemps was a Lycan who belonged to Lucian's Lycan army, serving as his second-in-command since Lucian's rebellion against the vampire Elder Victor 6 centuries ago. Razahir, better known simply as Reyes, was born in Sudan, East Africa, during the 14th century. He was the son of a once powerful sultan before their homeland was taken over by Saracen invaders. Only his truly formidable physical strength kept him alive to wander the world as an outcast before he was eventually captured in Europe and later delivered as a tribute to the vampire Elder Victor and his coven by Baron Kavasha. Once captive, the vampire warriors known as Death Dealers forced an unknown Lycan to bite Reyes, and his human companions, transforming them into lycanthropes to be used as slaves by the aristocratic vampires. Reyes was confined to a small cage, but he agreed to assist Lucian when he learned of his plans to escape with Sonia. In the present day, being a Lycan of over 600 years, Reyes exhibits abilities far beyond those of his fellow Lycans, including enhanced healing, speed, and strength. Due to his advanced age, Reyes can shift into his Lycan form at will, regardless of the time of day or the presence of the moon. He is highly proficient in the use of various weapons, both modern and medieval. Reyes is a loyal and powerful member of Lucian's army and a trusted friend of Lucian himself. Reyes has shown great courage, even when facing a werewolf as a human using only his bare fists. He was horrified when he realized he would become a Lycan, but eventually came to accept his new condition, and became a fierce warrior for the Lycan cause. Reyes is known to have a hot temper, transforming into a Lycan in the middle of a fight to avenge his fallen comrades, and actively pursuing Selene after she killed another of his comrades. He also attacked a group of death dealers in a nearly blind rage after finding Lucian apparently dead. Despite his ferocity, Reyes deeply cared for his fellow Lycans. He expressed concern for Lucian after finding him injured during the Lycan rebellion and immediately came to Lucian's aid after discovering that the death dealers had attacked their hideout. He is visibly devastated by Lucian's death. Additionally, despite the risk of being tracked by death dealers and getting injured himself, he carried one of their fallen comrades back to the hideout in case there was still a chance for resurrection. Lucian was a Lycan and an antagonist in the Underworld series, as well as the main protagonist of Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. He was the progenitor of the Lycans and the leader of the Lycan resistance since the times of Victor's enslavement. Lucian was also the lover of the vampire Sonia and played a crucial role in the events of all the Underworld movies. Before Lucian's birth, Lycans did not exist. Instead, a feral group of werewolves, descendants of William Corvinus, were used as slaves by the aristocratic vampires with inconsistent success. In the early 13th century, a female werewolf enslaved woman gives birth to a seemingly human child, Lucian. The ancient vampire Victor initially chooses to kill the child, but then changes his mind, curious about what he would become. It soon becomes clear that Lucian has the ability to shift between human and werewolf form, making him the first Lycan. Victor uses Lucian to infect the human slaves brought to the castle for almost 200 years, so that he can use them as his own immortal superhuman slaves. Lucian is portrayed as a charismatic and noble man with good leadership skills. He deeply cares for his fellow Lycans and, by extension, his bestial cousins, the werewolves. He has become skilled at controlling his temper and keeping his emotions in check over the years. When he was younger, Lucian was less worldly and more submissive, obediently following Victor's orders and defending the vampire clan. He claims not to hold grudges against them, presumably believing it was the natural order of things, although he wished for the Lycans to be treated better and for their loyalty to be recognized by the vampires. Over time, however, Lucian became increasingly disillusioned and sought to escape his life of slavery. At the same time, he did not want to abandon his fellow Lycans, feeling responsible for them. After Victor betrays Lucian, he finally realizes that he will never earn the respect of the vampires, and resolves to free his people and help them reach their full potential as a species. As a result of this, and due to his devastation over the death of his beloved Sonia and their unborn child, Lucian becomes a colder and more ruthless person. Apparently, he sees nothing wrong with killing vampires or putting innocent mortals in harm's way to achieve his goals. However, he is neither apathetic nor selfish. Everything he does is to improve the lives of his kind and avenge his family. He treats Michael with courtesy and apologizes for the other Lycan's rough treatment towards him. He also instructs Selene to bite Michael after he is mortally wounded, recognizing their growing love for each other and perhaps feeling empathy towards them. It is also shown that he is quite irascible but much less aggressive than his fellow Lycans, discouraging internal conflicts and promoting courtesy and cooperation among them. As the first true Lycan, Lucian possesses several superhuman abilities, and is the strongest of his kind. He is capable of consciously shifting between human and Lycan forms, as well as summoning claws, teeth, and eyes while in human form, and his strength and physical abilities increase in his Lycan form. In addition to his Lycan abilities, Lucian is also a capable leader, and skilled in various areas, such as strategy. He is also a proficient blacksmith and an experienced user of both modern and medieval weapons. In modern times, he no longer relies solely on his Lycan form for combat, but favors the use of various weapons, such as pistols or a pair of wrist-mounted blades. William Corvinus was a member of the Corvinus clan, the first werewolf, and the ancestor of all lycanthropes. He is the secondary antagonist in Underworld evolution, along with his twin brother Marcus Corvinus. Unlike the later generations of lycans, William was unable to transform back into his human form. His lycanthropy virus was much more infectious than his brother's vampirism virus, even allowing his victims to transform after death. Before being bitten, Marcus and William shared a bond that their father never truly saw, one so strong that even after his transformation, Marcus was the only one William wouldn't harm. Despite the efforts of Marcus and Alexander, William's rage could not be controlled, and he roamed the world, killing everything in sight. His lycanthropy virus spread throughout the land, turning hundreds of humans into savage werewolves. As the first of the werewolf species, William was easily one of the most powerful creatures in the Underworld series, and the most potent member of the werewolf species. As the first true werewolf, William cannot revert to his human form, and his transformed state exhibits more prominent wolf-like features, such as a larger snout, increased size, and white fur. He can also infect others and turn them into werewolves, and it is observed that his strain of infection acts much faster, even transforming recently deceased individuals into werewolves. Marius was the leader of the Lycans and the main antagonist in Underworld blood wars. He is the new leader of the Lycans following the purges and the annihilation of Antigen by Selene. After the deaths of Jacob and Quint, Marius managed to rise to power as the leader of a massive Lycan army. He also captured Michael Corvin after his escape from Antigen, seemingly killed him, and drained his blood. By occasionally drinking and injecting himself with Michael's hybrid blood, Marius could temporarily increase his power to that of a powerful evolved Lycan. However, for his abilities to be permanent, Marius sought the unique blood of Eve, who is also a hybrid and carries the pure Corvinus strain. Marius is shown to be a capable leader with unspecified but unsurprising hatred towards vampires. Given his age and strength, it is possible that the vampires kept him captive before his release, possibly during the time of Lucian's uprising centuries before the initial purge. He is a skilled warrior with possible military or Lycan training, as he efficiently coordinates and manages the decimated Lycan forces against the equally decimated and dying vampire race. Marius shares similarities with Lucian, as both are ambitious and strategic leaders who attempted to organize the Lycans into a proper fighting force. Like Lucian, Marius also had a vampire as his lover, but it seems he viewed this relationship as a strategic advantage rather than having genuine feelings for her. Marius appears to be more ruthless and cruel than Lucian, as he sadistically tortured and presumably killed Michael to obtain his blood, while Lucian simply kept him captive. He physically threatens his fellow Lycans and his lover Alexia if they displease him, and at one point, he uses a comrade as a living shield against silver bullets. He also taunts Selene over Michael's apparent death, knowing her feelings for him. Marius was intelligent enough to plan sophisticated attacks, and firmly believed that the Lycans were a more formidable enemy when they cooperated with each other. Marius seemed to have a slightly softer side. He was affectionate with his lover Alexia, who was actually a vampire, indicating that his hatred for vampires did not consume him entirely. He also told Selene that he would not kill Eve, although he might have been lying to gain her trust. He also seemed to be highly respected by his fellow Lycans, and although he intimidated them, he let Gregor leave after his repeated failures to capture Selene. Marius' leadership and strategic skills are notably incredible. It was repeatedly stated that he was unlike any leader the Lycans had before, and that he was able to amass a formidable Lycan army that inflicted more damage on vampires than any previous Lycan force had done. Some of Marius' strategies included using riot shields to block bullets and mortars to breach the walls of the Eastern Coven, allowing sunlight, the vampire's main weakness, to enter. Both tactics were incredibly effective, and they could have won the battle if Selene and the Nordic Coven hadn't intervened. As a Lycan, Marius possesses the standard abilities of his species, including superhuman strength, resilience, and regenerative capabilities. His senses are heightened similarly to those of a canine even when he is in human form. His age and generation are currently unknown. Like all Lycans, his abilities are at their peak while in his transformed form, granting him strength and ferocity surpassing younger vampires and those of his own generation. Quint Lane was the son of Jacob Lane, the director of Antigen. He is an enhanced Lycan who possesses the Corvinus strain due to injections of the Corvinus strain derived from tissue samples taken from the hybrid girl Eve. Quint Lane serves as the counterpart to the vampire Selene. While Selene is an enhanced vampire with the Corvinus strain, Quint is an enhanced Lycan with the same strain. His strength is exceptionally powerful, even among his own kind, thanks to multiple injections of a serum developed by Antigen using tissues from Selene and Michael Corvin's daughter, Eve. Quint possesses the remarkable ability to heal almost instantly, and displays apparent immunity to silver. Given his extraordinary strength, Quint's father uses him as Antigen's muscle, instructing him to hunt down any enemies or threats to the company, including targeting Selene and eliminating Lita, a scientist who had threatened to expose Antigen. Little is known about Quint's background or family life, except for a single comment made by his father that suggests Quint's mother abandoned the family by choosing not to become a Lycan. It remains unclear whether this indicates that both Quint and his father deliberately became Lycans or if they were accidentally bitten, and attempted to compel Quint's mother to undergo the transformation as well. Quint exhibits brutal and cruel behavior towards those he considers his enemies. Nevertheless, he is fiercely loyal to his father, just as his father is to him. It appears that Quint holds deep affection for his mother, whom his father despises for leaving them and remaining human. Moreover, Quint displays an unwavering confidence in his superiority, owing to his healing abilities, immense strength, and enhanced resistance to silver. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. We love hearing from our viewers, so please leave a comment and share your ideas for future videos. Thanks for your support, and we can't wait to see you again in our next video.